down the agenda with the caveat, but we'll start with the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the August 8th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of August 8th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to skip ahead, and we'll return to public comment and consent agenda, but we have a presentation regarding our education benefits cooperative, so we'll move to that.
So, a little background, the district is currently self-funded. It's been a self-funded district for many years. Last year, the district has brought up the conversation about joining a cooperative amongst the 3 collective bargaining units. This was discussed during our insurance committees that is held by myself and the 3 presidents of the collective bargaining agreements. And the finance committee also discussed the possibility of joining a cooperative. So today we have 2 representatives from the cooperative here to explain a little bit more and kind of the cost analysis and also kind of what it takes and entails to be in a cooperative.
Yes.
All right. My name is Mel Diaz. I am the Area Executive VP over at Gallagher, and my main responsibility is I watch over this cooperative, and I've been with Gallagher for about 12 years now. But before I get too deep into this, I just wanted to compliment you on your boardroom. I've been doing this a long time. This is by far the nicest one. So
Made it
nice
myself.
work there. Very nice. So we're going through this packet here, and we'll get a little bit deeper into the numbers because probably that's a pretty important part for you guys. But I think it's important that you get an idea of what this cooperative is about. So that first page, the EBC overview. So I think the best way to describe this, the Educational Benefit Cooperative, is that it really is a community of your peers. It started way back in 1984 with just 8 school districts at that time. And, they're probably like similar of your size, maybe even a little smaller. And they recognized way back then that as a standalone district, they really didn't have a whole lot of leverage with insurance carriers, vendor partners, and somebody came up with a really brilliant idea of banding together and sharing their risks. Immediately, they went from being, let's say, a standalone district of 150 lives, to all of a sudden they're now, 800, 900 strong. And, you have the ability to become self-funded, and you also have a little bit more leverage with carrier partners. So you fast forward almost 40 years later, those 8 school districts is now 123 school districts. And, I've been part of a good chunk of that growth, which I'm, extremely proud of. But the nice thing about this cooperative is it's and I describe it as a community because it's a very inviting community. It has school districts of all shapes and sizes from everywhere in the state of Illinois. We have ventured out down to central Illinois much more over the years because a good chunk of your neighbors and peers in the Chicagoland area are already part of the cooperative. So our largest school district is Decatur School District. And we have, I think our smallest one is Willow Springs, which is only about, 50 enrolled lives, whereas Decatur is about 1,200. But the beauty about this cooperative is regardless of your size, is that your voice is equal to everybody. At one point, actually, the chair of EBC, Frank Patrick, was the chair of EBC, and he was from the smallest district. But I think that speaks to what I mean, that everyone has an equal voice, and everybody's voice is important. So it targets K through 12 only in the state of Illinois. The other thing that's worth mentioning, because a lot of people will mention, oh, Gallagher is EBC. We're not EBC. We have the honor and privilege to be the consultant for EBC, and we've been the only consultant in the 40 years that this cooperative has been around. EBC doesn't require you to be tied for a very long time. It's basically just a 1-year commitment, and with a 90-day notice prior to their annual 7/1 renewal. But the typical story for EBC is when a district joins, the district, they don't leave because they recognize the value of the cooperative. In the 12 years that I've been with Gallagher, there's been less than a handful of districts that has actually left the cooperative. But again, it speaks to the retention and why people, stick with this program. If you flip to the next page, and this is kind of the reason why they stay, in addition to the savings and premiums that we'll get to in a little bit. But so from the very moment that a school district joins the EBC, all these value-added programs, and some of these programs, and Anthony can attest to this, there's a pretty good chance that you're paying for some of these programs. Whether it's an EAP or COBRA services, or if you don't happen to have an online Ben admin platform, those are pretty expensive stuff. So in addition to the premium savings, and there is premium savings for your school district, all these items here become available to your school district on an administrative side, but more importantly, a lot of these benefits impact all your employees, all the teachers that works in the school district. So that's very, very important piece. Whether it's the wellness program or the COBRA, telemedicine is a great story because now everybody has telemedicine, right? But EBC had telemedicine 6-7 years ago. I mean, that's how forward thinking this cooperative is. So by the time the pandemic happened, EBC was already prepared for it. The next page is the historical, and this describes up to 15 years, but we can go much further back, and the story is going to remain consistent, is that the cooperative performs extremely well, especially against what's happening in the market. And that's always been the promise of EBC, is that it will outperform the market over a long period of time, because joining this cooperative, it is about a long-term investment. I will never stand in front of a prospect and tell them that EBC is going to be the lowest rates year after year. That simply, it's not truthful, right? Because as you guys probably know, you can always find a carrier in any given year that will give you a new business discount and save you some money that particular year. But you're not really resolving your issue because long-term, they could hit you the very following year, right? So EBC is very proud of its performance year after year, 40 years into it. This is a 15-year average. We're sitting at about 4.5 on the PPO. This is on the bottom numbers. HMO is 3.6. Our dental program has run, basically almost flat for over the last 15 years. There's also a 5-year average in there. And even over the last 2 years, which our numbers have spiked up, that still beats by several points what the rest of the market have been getting. I mean, I'm sure you speak to your peers that's out there. The typical averages over the last couple of years has been closer to 13, 14, 15%, just because of everything that spiked back up. Again, if you're in it for the long term, that's what the EBC is going to provide for a school district, is a lot of stability, very good financial performance. And Casey will get into that a little bit more specific to you guys. But, the gist of it is that what EBC is able to deliver to any school district is that over a long period of time, you're going to save some premium in savings. But you're also going to receive all these new programs from the very first day, and it's all built into the premiums. The risk is pretty much spread out among the 123 school districts. That's what makes it very predictable and stable. You're talking about enrolled lives in EBC, about 28,000, okay? Your district is a self-funded group, and you're sitting at about, what, 200? 200, right? So even at 200, it's still unpredictable, right? Because a couple of large claims can really impact your costs. Whereas the EBC, when you're sitting at 28,000 lives, there's a predictability to it because it's so large. And you're able, and one big hit doesn't hurt the cooperative because you're spreading that among 28,000 lives, 123 school districts. So from that vantage point, that's why it's able to deliver solid financial performance year over year. And you know, we have opportunities like this all the time, and I never take it for granted, but when we do get these opportunities, almost often we're able to deliver savings for school districts, and that's what, you know, Casey's going to review with you guys tonight. Okay, Casey?
Alrighty. Now the next page is gonna look like a lot. Small font, so that's why I'm holding it close to myself. So through conversation with Anthony over the past couple of months, he kind of directed where the district might be looking to go as far as plan design, as far as goals for overall budgetary reasons. And we were able to really identify if EBC would be a viable solution. Now, with that being said, this is the proposal for the EBC, along with the rates on the right half of the page that, you know, that CUSD 201 would look at if joining the cooperative on 1/1/24. On the left-hand side are your current rates with your current self-funded arrangement. You are currently running at a two-tiered plan design. We'll kind of walk through how it changed moving forward. But let's start at the top right here with the current projection or the current rates versus the 2024 renewal if the district were to join the EBC. Right off the bat, we were able to look at 11.1% savings, which rounds out to be about $465,000. Now, zooming into what that 11.1% was derived from, you start to see about 5% of that was derived from the EBC. As Mel described, you know, with those lower rates, we're able to take on some more risk and ultimately able to offer lower rates to participating districts. And about 6% of that was derived from the plan design changes that Anthony alluded to throughout our conversations with the elimination of two of the current plan offerings. That would being the traditional PPO plan as well as the HMO Illinois plan. So going from a four plan option to two plan options, found some savings there, as well as the EBC as a collective whole was able to offer lower rates for the district moving forward. Now, on the far right-hand side, you can see that through our conversations, Anthony, you know, a lot of, you know, this thought process kind of came to the conclusion that we wanted to provide a lot of the savings that we were finding to the employees, right? A lot of those tiers that you'll see, these double, triple digit, you know, reductions in premium to the employees is going to go a long way. It really, you know, speaks volume that the district is able to find these savings and provide them to the employees. I know they will take it for granted, or they won't take it for granted, and they will really, you know, view the district at a high point. I wanted to bring up two numbers on the right-hand side. So there are two classes under the HMO-BA, so that is the fourth plan option, all the way on the right side. There are two tiers that are taking an increase. Now, I've worked through the contribution strategy with Anthony throughout this process, and we've, you know, chiseled that number down from where it once began. But ultimately, the reason for the increase is coming from a two-tiered plan design. So if you look on the left-hand side, you know, you were essentially charging the same amount of money for an employee plus child as you were for a family. So breaking it out into a four-tier plan design, it's not necessarily giving that increase that it appears like on paper, but you're essentially moving them to where they should have been the entire time. So that was an inevitable jump. We believe that, you know, the employee plus child and the employee plus spouse plans were really subsidizing the family plan by having them charge or having them pay less in premium when ultimately they should have been, you know, paying a little bit more because there tends to be, you know, more members on that plan. So it doesn't make sense for them to be paying the same amount as an employee plus a spouse or employee plus a children or a child. So those are the two numbers that I did want to bring up where we did see a slight increase. But for the rest of the, you know, population, about 175 individuals were able to find great savings for. And we're also able to find, we were able to find about $37,000 in savings to the district at that current contribution level. So that was about as quick as I could have walked through that. Some big numbers here. More than happy to, Mel, if you want to expand on it, or if there are any questions, more than happy to field anything.
I think overall, it tells a really good story for the school district. One that you save money, but ultimately, a lot of the savings that the school district received gave it back to the employees. And I think that's a pretty powerful story. So to have savings come in for about 75% of the employees, and then to also deliver all these new value-added programs for them. I mean, it's a huge win for the school district.
So, and the reason why we're presenting it today is that the district and EBC would have to come to an agreement by 9/1. On August 14th, I met with the insurance committee, all three union presidents, and they were fully on board. They were prepped with the EBC conversations a year ago, and they were just waiting on the new contribution rates. And they were very pleased on the cost savings from the district's point of view of savings, and then also in the employee. And like what they explained today was that some of the plans would see an increase, but that's where we, in the district and the unions, worked on the current contract language of, anything over 10% of premium cost would be split 50-50 amongst the district and employee. Well, the district, the administration, and the unions agree that, well, there is a savings here, we could do 75%, and the district does 25% of that savings over 10%. Because in that way, it wouldn't be a huge impact for employees and still be a savings for both ends.
That was my question.
So this would run 1/1 through June 30th of 2015, or 2025, correct?
Yeah, it'll be an 18
18
month.
months. So these plan rates don't change for 18 months.
And that gives you the opportunity to line up with EBC's renewal date of 7/1.
After that point, it's July to June.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's the
Our
fiscal
fiscal
year
year.
instead of calendar year.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then to confirm that everything within the plan doesn't change.
Correct.
Yeah,
On the
so I want
previous-
the board to know, and the union members also know that within the plan, deductible, they don't change.
I think that was my biggest question, because that leap up for because people will elect that employee plus spouse and employee plus family for sure. So as long as they're on board with the overall savings and how that's gonna play out for them, and they're not surprised and upset, then makes sense, I think.
I got a couple questions real quick. Of the 123 members, are they all in the state of Illinois, or where?
Oh, yeah, this cooperative is only for state of Illinois school districts. Yeah.
And then you said we have to reach an agreement with EBC by 9/1?
Well, we would have to be in agreement, say, okay, we're joining EBC, so then we can prepare the transition starting 1/1 with the premium rates.
Yes.
Got it. So is there no process from the members of ABC for admitting a new member?
There is. So once I get the, kind of like the formal go-ahead from you folks, I will submit a ballot to the executive committee of EBC, and it's the 7 members that will vote on it. But I can tell you that in my 12 years there, they've never said no to me. And part of it is because there really isn't a surprise.
So are you going to be there? or-
What's that? Because there really isn't a surprise, because we have executive committee meetings and we share what prospects we're working on. And if you're one of those school districts that everybody talks about, we would know already, because they would say something. Because that's kind of their responsibility as exec members. So I'll submit the ballot, but by the time they receive that ballot, it really is a formality, because they understand our underwriting process. They know the type of school district that we're looking for, so.
Okay.
And really, from your end, the only thing that would be needed is a board resolution. Basically, your commitment to joining the cooperative, so.
It's been a long process. I know you guys have been working on it for a long time, so thank you. And thank the insurance committee for the work that they've done. you know, this seems good for EBC, it seems good for our staff, and it seems good for the district's finances, so.
Right.
Rock on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. We're going to return back to our public comment, and we do have public comment today. Thank you for coming. We haven't had it in a while, so appreciate you being present. I am going to go over guidelines. Public comment is a time for the community to address the board with comments and questions. Each community member addressing the board has 5 minutes, and we don't have a large number. I won't go over the total time we have for public comment, but please understand that this is not an engagement time. The board will consider your comments and its decisions. For those comments or questions requiring a follow-up response, the board president, myself, or the superintendent will follow up. So we have Andrew Kamen. Thank you.
Good evening. Not sure if everyone's aware of what happened on bus 2 this afternoon, but the bus did break down, and the students were then transferred to another bus. I was not notified that the bus broke down until after my child was supposed to already be home. The bus has not been on time once in the 4 days so far. I'm concerned that the children were stuck on the bus in such a warm day. I don't know what the procedures are with the bus company to notify the district, and then what emergency plans are in place to get them off of the bus. Granted, it was not cool outside, but it was most definitely not cool inside the bus. I saw the children as they were getting off of the bus, and they were all drenched in sweat. So this raises safety concerns, and I would ask the board and the district to review the emergency plans with the bus company to make sure that all the drivers are aware of what to do, whether that's a call to 911, to get police assistance or fire department assistance, so they can manage so many kids getting off of a bus. I understand it's a lot for a bus driver to handle, so, you know, whatever they need to do, I look to you guys. This is, you know, where you come in. Felt it was appropriate to come tonight since it happened today. Another concern I have with busing, I keep getting these schedules and they're not being followed. The schedule I got during registration seems to be what they're following as far as when my daughter is being picked up. However, the schedule that got sent out the day before school and then again today is not what's being followed. I've talked with other parents, and it seems that we need, as a community, to know when are kids getting picked up? When are they getting dropped off? I understand at the beginning of the school year, there can be some issues, but this has been going on for a while. Do we need a new bus company? Do they need more oversight? What do we need to do? So I would ask for your assistance on this matter. And please be mindful of people having to get to work and get their kids off the bus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And just to reiterate, again, with public comment, the board president or superintendent does reach out to community members that speak, and feedback will be given. Great. We'll move to the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Personnel recommendations: Nancy Van Ness, Student Services and Outplacement Coordinator; Aaron Cronin, Teaching Assistant; Hannah Macy, Teaching Assistant; Amanda Ryan, Teaching Assistant; Sophia Wakeland, Teaching Assistant, and resignations. 2, ratification of July 2023 regular payroll. 3, approval of August 2023 expenditure report. 4, appointment of hearing officer. 5, approval of student tour request athletics.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover? Yes. Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carries. Now returning to information and discussion. Office Depot donation.
Yes, so Sam and the Miller staff went to Office Depot earlier this summer before school started for school supplies. And based on their purchases and knowing that we're in budget limitations this year, Office Depot offered Miller Supplies a donation for their gratitude and their hard work being a teacher and being supportive with the students in our community and being able to have that partnership with the district, Miller, and Office Depot. And in the board agenda are pictures, a little bit more updates on what the donation's for. But yeah, Sam and the staff were really, really excited to be presented this and appreciative for their hard work.
How did the donation come about exactly?
So based on, we use Home Depot a lot, the business manager over there
Office
was Office Depot. The business manager was there and Sam and the business manager spoke based on a large number of staff members shopping at one time instead of online shopping. And Sam enrolled the district of one of 30 into this donation pool, and
Okay.
Miller staff won.
I got it now. That makes sense. Interesting.
So can we share this like wide now, once we accept it? On all of our
Yes,
social
yes,
media?
the board would need to,
Okay.
based on policy, the board would need to approve a donation received by the district, and it will specify that it is going for Miller supplies only, but once the board approves that, we're able to publicize it.
Cool. And can we like get it out to our PTOs also? Because I know our PTOs will use like Yubler or whatever, but I know if we could drive some business to a local institution, maybe we can build on this each year and, you know, did Adina, did you say you saw like a roundup option
Yes.
possibly? Is that still going on?
That is still going on, correct, yeah.
Okay. So if we go to Office Depot, we can round up and it's still going to go to Miller on top of this.
On top of that, correct.
Okay. Let's share that.
We're the district of that location, so
Yeah.
yes, any roundup will go towards it. And it'll go to Miller's supplies account, but again, it would just show appreciation to, you know, the staff, and that partnership of Office Depot and helping us out.
Yeah, let's keep building on this.
Yes.
This is so cool. I mean, it's, and I know so many parents would be like, what? Office Depot donated to any school in our district? That is where I will buy my.
And from what I've also heard from Sam, I mean, that was one great team building experience. I mean, having Sam, the new principal, and then her staff together, was incredible to see, and just, it shows, you know, great appreciation for our staff at Miller.
It was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Shopping there and kind of like, yeah, let's go, let's go. And then you hear Miller, like, what? Miller? Yeah. So, of course I'll round up.
So yeah, so now the board would just need to approve that donation acceptance, and we'll publicize it.
Awesome. Thank you. If there are no other questions, we'll move to emergency days.
So the board had approved one emergency day, and then we would assess its effectiveness and see if it was something we want to continue with.
And as a reminder, we've kind of had, last year we talked about this, and with COVID and things that we took from that, the E-days, and how they would work and how successful it was. We wanted to, the idea of it sounded promising to the board, but we didn't need to use it last year. But basically, our plan was to not necessarily commit all of our emergency days to the e-learning days. Our plan is to use one and then start to get feedback from stakeholders and our staff and how well it worked, and then kind of evaluate how we would go about using them in the future. So,
the e-learning day would be used in lieu of the one emergency day.
yes, yes.
And so we're just basically saying we're going to continue, because we didn't get a chance to.
We didn't get any last year, yeah.
Thankfully, not that we want that chance, I'm just saying that like, it didn't happen, so we're just going to keep going until we get an example to learn from.
And
To
then we'll assess it,
evaluate and to put into context.
yes.
And so if it were 2 days in a row, one of those days would be an e-learning day. The second day would be.
Yes, snow day.
Yes.
Emergency.
An emergency
Emergency
day.
day,
As
thank
we,
you.
as we have learned this week,
Yeah.
not just for snow.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. So can we also add this to the docket of like the first December meeting? Just to, as a,
Reminder.
as like a,
Reminder.
or maybe even, maybe even like the November meeting, the
No,
December meeting.
December.
And the January meeting.
December.
Positive, December, January.
Just a reminder. I don't know when we start getting the questions,
Yeah.
parents wondering. It's like whenever the first snow happens.
I think December is a lot of the building principals send out reminders of the sort, like this may come up. And so I think it's a good time for
Yeah, I
us
feel like we
to bring it up
definitely
in
got
December.
something last year. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the younger grade, well, not younger grades, all of the staff
Yes.
will have or has already made plans for an E-Day. Because they already have to have those plans in place,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Right. And then we'll move ahead to our PR updates.
So at the last board meeting, we were encouraging community members to get involved with all of our committees. And part of that was to be able to publish the dates so people could know when they could schedule and be a part of the PR committee. So Edith put out a outreach effort, and then we scheduled these dates that will take place at 6 o'clock. So our first one is August 24th, and then we'll continue with September 21st, October 19th, November 20th, January 22nd, February 26th, March 18th, April 16th, and June 3rd. All are invited to attend. Start at 6 o'clock, held at South School.
About an hour commitment, right? Like,
I think we could wrap in about an hour. Yeah, maybe the first one might be a little bit longer, but not much.
and if we have a community member who we think might be into, like, we can just send them, right?
They can
Like,
just,
they
yeah,
can
we
show
will
up.
welcome anybody who's interested from our community to be a part of this. We really are trying to include more of our community members to enhance communication and get public knowledge about what's happening in our district, and to also share some of the great things that are happening. So,
Great.
It's great. Dates.
They were going to be put on the district calendar. Have they already been on the district calendar?
they will be,
I believe Amy sent hers out with this more already, saying that it's coming up, so appreciate that.
Great. We'll move ahead to our action item regarding Office Depot. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the Office Depot donation of $1,726.71 to be used at Miller Elementary for supplies as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Thank you again to Office Depot. And we'll have that communication posted and publicized. Great. We'll move to the superintendent's report.
So this was the first opportunity I had to be superintendent of the district as the opening of the school year, and I am so incredibly proud of our staff, our teachers, all the administration, and of course our students. It really was beautiful to see the level of commitment of our team to our young people. During the Institute days and the opening days, the way they welcomed our students back with warmth and excitement and preparation for a great school year. South engaged in their screening, and they're still in that process, but they work very hard to do a thorough job to prepare our students who are entering into our district. At Miller, there were some challenges which can happen when you have young people coming to school for the first time or transitioning from preschool. That's to be anticipated. In some ways, it was a little bit more challenging than we may have anticipated. But the response of the admin and the teachers and the support staff and the Special Services Department was incredible. They really were all in. Just to see them, and the district administration pitched in too, and the administration from other buildings, but the teachers and staff It's just really, I think the community would have been so proud. And it was eye-opening for me as a person who spent the majority of their career at the high school to see our young people, the youngest of our students, really at Miller, just the love they receive from our teachers and admin, and then some who struggle, because that's a big transition for some of the friends, as we call them, coming into Miller, our youngest students. But the teachers, the staff were just incredible. The administration, Sam, and everybody who pitched in, it was excellent. I think if the community saw what I saw, you would have almost been moved to tears because of the level of commitment and the poise and the grace. It's what education should be, but it was really impressive, and I'm very grateful to the above and beyond efforts of Sam and the whole team at Miller and how everybody pitched in, and Tiffany, our student services director, on the floor with the special ed teachers trying to help the young people transition. Very powerful. Manning is off to a strong start. Lindsay and Jada have reported, and what I've observed and what other district administrators have observed, a really beautiful start to the school year. The students are on board. We asked the teachers to increase the sense of urgency when it comes to our academic achievement, and they've responded, and we're off to a strong start. The same is true with Amy and Mike at the junior high and their incredible teachers and support staff. It's really been special. Now, we face the situation that we're aware of with the heat and the ongoing construction project that's still in process. But we did, as Anthony has reported, bring in the portable units to try to address that, especially we're anticipating the next couple of days. But we've redoubled our efforts. We learned some things from this process, specifically that these units have to be attended to. So we are doing that to make sure that the units are functioning at the highest level possible. Even that, with that being said, with the temperatures that we're anticipating, we are going to provide some additional relief in the afternoons in the next 2 days. We're going to take the students across the street to the air-conditioned auditorium in the afternoon and do some assembly and team building and presentation for those classrooms that need it and those teachers who need that relief and the students who need that relief. And then we hope we get a break on Friday. But the junior high staff, once again, off to an incredible start, very positive, and they're dealing as best as possible with the heat, and we're trying to respond in kind. The good news is that this should be the last season of that, because the almost $7 million that we've committed to the project at the junior high should provide a comfortable atmosphere in years to come. So we have to endure another few days, but help is on the way there. And at the high school, Dr. Weck and his team are off to a very strong start. I'm so proud of our high school students and staff, and they've really done wonderful work. It's the first week, but it's a positive first week. So thank you to the board and the community and parents for all your support, to our central office team. We have a lot of work to do, and we'll report on that, but we have action plans to increase our academic achievement. But we're off to some challenges with the heat, I'm not going to hide from that, and some of our friends, made a transition to their new schooling, but the commitment of the staff has been incredible, and I'm very grateful for that. So we're off to a good start.
Any questions for Mr. Balderman?
Any reason not to cancel for the next couple of days?
E-learning.
I mean, I have to ask the question. It's hot. We know that our neighbors over at Downers Grove, they're in a different situation than we are
Right,
in,
they
as
have
they have
no
zero air
air.
conditioning in any of their buildings. But they delayed the start of their school year. They also started later than, all of the things, right? Did we think about it? Do we think that doing the ongoing maintenance on these is going to be enough? The emptying of the humidifier and all that is gonna support it enough?
Well, there's a couple questions there. So do we consider it? Yes, we don't think it's the best response at this time, because it would elongate the school year for especially the junior high, but the whole district. We think it's not going to be comfortable. It's unseasonably hot weather, and these units are not built to provide the kind of comfort that most people are used to. So I really do appreciate what the students and teachers are going through. But we think that the response that we put together will get us through the next 2 days. And it's not optimal, but I think it's the best option at this time. So,
Because if we cancel the whole district for 2 days. Because we're a K through 12, which is another situation in how we are very different than the K through 8 district that canceled over in Downers, is that we're everybody.
yeah, I'm not going to, and we've had a couple rooms where things in other buildings have been a little uncomfortable, and we're adding portable units to those spaces. And I'm not going to pretend that when it's 98 degrees out that, school buildings aren't really built for that kind of condition on a regular basis. So there's going to be some uncomfortableness. I'm not saying it's optimal, but I think overall education can continue at a high level, and we'll get through these 2 days. And then there's a forecasted break in the weather, and then we won't be paying for it on the back end, because guess what? It could be unseasonably hot next June. And the disruption, starting and then stopping for a couple days, I don't know that that's the best course of action. Most of the students and teachers are at least in a pretty comfortable situation. Canceling school right now may seem like a good idea, but trust me, that people don't want the days added on at the end. So it's not a completely winnable situation. And we have a long-term solution that's really powerful, and we have a short-term solution that'll get us through this unseasonably hot weather.
Thank you. Thank you to
Thank you.
everybody who has done stuff. Thank you for answering the questions, for everybody's dedication. Not ideal. I'm so looking forward to never having this conversation. with
Yes.
you ever again.
Yes.
Thanks for stepping up.
And I do appreciate that at the junior high, they're bearing a little bit a heavier burden, and they're handling it very well. But we do have some contingency plans for the next 2 days, so.
Thank you.
Thanks for the staff stepping up,
Yes.
custodial staff.
Custodial staff, our teaching staff, and the young people at the junior high, too.
So we'll move to board reports, and I'll start, and I want to start by saying, like, I reviewed, the board was given a chance to look at the presentation for the Teachers Institute Days, and I'm so inspired. And I thank you for sending us that. It's, something the board has been talking about for a long time, but seeing it in that presentation and the plans ahead, and it's excitement for our district and what's to come. And so I'm really excited. I know it's a process. I know it's a lot of work. It makes me appreciate the staff, administrators, the teachers, and then the students even more. But I'm excited to see just how successful our district will become. So I wanted to say that. And then the update to the board. We spoke last meeting about our agenda and how we are looking at it, and I want you guys to know that our agenda committee, we are taking a look at the process of how we run the meetings and looking at how it affects our office staff, our district office staff, and we're taking all those things into consideration. And so it's not something that's has disappeared or will disappear, but we are, even if, in fact, our next agenda meeting, we're starting right away and looking at our process, and then to bring it back to you guys, like what we think sounds great, and get your feedback some more.
Yeah, we had some learnings already at the first agenda meeting of like what we might need to think about for the September meetings as it pertains to like kind of committee as a whole situation, and yeah, not forgotten.
Being talked about now. So again, on all committees, I see a plan coming together, so.
Yeah. And on the kickoff presentation, a note on that is that we've got a presentation about kind of what the district has been doing all summer long coming up at our next meeting. They were, we were talking about maybe having it this meeting, but really like the staff wants to do it right. We're asking them to do something that we haven't really had before, like a summer wrap up. They really want to do it right. They want to get into the school year, so we're looking forward to that. Hopefully sharing some of that kickoff stuff with the community as a whole at our next meeting.
Any other board reports?
Sports season is starting. Too bad soccer game got canceled today, I'm assuming because of the heat, and then I saw the junior high kids with their softball gear ready for tryouts, so join us for the first Friday Night Lights this Friday.
And that gets me into our future meetings and events. So the Westmont Legacy Hoop Fest is happening August 26th at 9 a.m. at James Long Park, or previously known as Black Hawk Park. Elementary PTO Night, August 29th, 7 p.m. at Manning. Westmont High School Back to School Night is August 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Westmont High School. Manning Curriculum Night, August 31st, 6 p.m. at Manning. There's no school on Labor Day. September 4th. Miller Curriculum Night will be September 6th at 6 p.m. And Westmont Junior High School Curriculum Night is September 7th at 6 p.m. And our next scheduled CUSD 201 board meeting is September 13th, 6 p.m. at Westmont Village Hall. Right, moving from there, if there's nothing else. The chair will entertain a motion to enter, no, I'm sorry, we don't need to re-enter closed session.
No.
Okay.
Wait, can I scratch a request? You said September 13th on there. It's the 12th, isn't it? Yeah, it's the
Okay.
12th.
Stand corrected.
Yes, 12th
Our
is a
next
Tuesday.
CUSD 201 board meeting is September 12th. Thank you. 6 p.m., Westmont Village Hall. The chair-
Yes, no second closed session.
Right. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the August 22nd, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion adjourned.